Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. And welcome back to the Summer Micro Boost series, where every Sunday in July and August, I'll be diving into bite-sized episodes focused on really creating deeper self-love and personal growth. Think of it as your weekly sunshine for your soul. Now, today's episode is all about something super important, especially during the busy sun-soaked summer season, when life can feel a little overwhelming. I know personally, I mentioned a little bit in last episode where I can get so busy hanging out with my kids that I kind of forget about me a little bit and my needs. So I'm following along with this series this summer to keep me centered and focused too, and make sure that I take time for me and do things that also bring me joy, not just hanging out with my kids and doing what they want, but also what I want and what brings me joy. Now, hanging out with my kids does bring me joy, but that's only part of my joy. And, we all have multiple buckets to fill. So what I'm going to be talking today is so important, and I've had to learn it myself, especially over the summer, because it's so easy. Like I said, our schedules are off track and things like that. We're talking about the power of boundaries in a busy season. So grab your iced coffee or fruit-infused water and just take a deep breath and let's dive in to this beautiful topic. Okay, so I have talked a lot about boundaries. Why? Because boundaries are super important for your energy, and we're going to get right into it. But I wanted to give it a micro boost of boundary setting and also in line with the busy summer season. Because like I mentioned last episode, boundaries are still important in the summer. It's not a seasonal thing, it's a yearly thing. It's a continuous thing, right? So first off, I want to start by saying this. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges. Bridges to deeper self-respect, better relationships, and a more peaceful, aligned life. But here's the thing. So many of us struggle with setting boundaries, including myself, because we've been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish or mean, or we're afraid of what people will say or that will hurt their feelings. Now, if that sounds familiar, like I said, I also have struggled to set boundaries with myself and with others in my life. So now I just want to take a moment and flip that script for you today, because the truth is, boundaries are one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can give yourself. Setting boundaries is saying, I value myself, my time, and my energy enough to protect them. Think about it. When you don't set boundaries, what happens? You start feeling drained, resentful, and honestly, kind of disconnected from yourself, or in fact, a lot disconnected from yourself. Remember, I too have been there. And I get it. Summer is busy between vacations, family gatherings, barbecues, work deadlines, and everything else in between. It's easy to say yes to everything and put yourself last. But when you do that, you're not showing up as your best self. You're giving from an empty cup. And that helps no one. I can't remember how many summers now it's been since my kids have been in school, and I've had to really work on these boundaries myself, making sure that I keep my morning routine, but that at the same time spending time with my kids, because I know that they're only young for so long, but it's finding a balance. And boundaries allow you to preserve your energy, prioritize what matters most, and show up fully for the people, projects, and passion that mean the most to you. It's not just doing something kind for yourself. It also helps you be kind to everyone else around you. For example, for me, I'll share, one of the summers, I was just constant state of going. And I mean like hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my kids, hanging out with my husband, and doing lots of things I loved. But I was never having like alone times, like me times, and meditating or doing my yoga practice, things that really help me keep grounded and fill my cup up. Like I said, we have many buckets. So we have to be careful when we do things that bring us joy. Because I'm going to be honest, I like to socialize and have a drink or two. But if I do that every day in the summer, I socialize, having a few drinks in here and there, I am going to not feel good by the end of the summer. So it's also being mindful of what things you need in different levels and buckets. I like to think of it as different buckets, right? I have the me bucket, time for me. A bucket to hang out with my kids and spend time with them. A bucket for my husband. And I know it's kind of weird, buckets, but if you think about them as buckets and just filling them, it kind of helps you realize that sometimes you're taking a lot out of one bucket, but not adding anything to it. Like I said before, I didn't have a lot of me time. So I have to be really mindful, especially when we have family visit. I need to still set boundaries, especially for myself. Be like, I am going to take time for me now because I love being social. I love spending time with people. However, I can get so caught up in spending time with people, my friends, my kids, my husband, and other family that visit, that I forget that I need me time. And then I feel a little burnt out. So I hope that helps you with kind of prioritizing your boundaries and your needs a little bit. I kind of went off topic a little bit because I wanted you to know that I feel this way too and find a balance during the summertime. Now, I know that setting boundaries, especially saying no, can feel so uncomfortable. Maybe you're worried about disappointing somebody or you're afraid of conflict. But let me tell you this, saying no doesn't have to be harsh. In fact, you can say no with grace and honesty. You're actually showing respect for the other person too. Here's a little mantra to remember. A no to others can be a yes to myself. Let's talk about a few ways you can graciously say no without guilt. So number 1, be honest but kind. For example, if someone invites you to an event and you're not feeling up to it, you can say, "Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm going to have to pass this time, but I hope you have an amazing time." It's short, it's sweet, no over-explaining. We as women, I find, including myself, we tend to want to explain everything over and over. We don't owe anybody an explanation, but if you feel the need to, short and sweet is totally fine. Number 2, offer an alternative. If you want to, that is. So for example, if you still want to connect with someone, but on your terms, or just at a different time, suggest a different way or time you can do this. Like, I can't make it to the party, but I'd love to grab coffee next week if you're free. Sometimes we can't make it when other people want to, or when this other thing is happening, but that doesn't mean you can't connect with that other person. So sharing a different alternative is a really great idea. So number 3, blame your calendar, not your heart. Sometimes it helps to keep it neutral. Something like, "I'd love to, but my schedule's really full right now. Thanks for understanding." Remember, you don't owe anyone a detailed explanation. A simple, heartfelt no is enough. And here's the magic. The more you practice saying no when something doesn't feel right or align with your energy, the more power and lighter you'll feel. Doesn't it feel good already? Okay. So now it's time for some action because self-love isn't just about listening to podcasts or reading books. It's about doing the work. I know it doesn't sound great, but it does need to happen. So here's your actionable takeaway for this week. I want you to think about one area of your life where you feel overextended, drained, or just off. Maybe it's at work where you've been taking on too many projects, or maybe it's with a friend who keeps asking for your time when you really don't have it. Where you've been saying yes to chores or commitments that don't leave space for you. Here's the thing, dusting is dusting and it happens all the time. Sometimes pause and take some time for you. Okay? Now ask yourself, what boundary could I set to protect my energy in that area? And what's one small step I can take this week to put that boundary into action? Maybe it's saying no to an invitation or delegating a task at work or even at home, or simply carving out 30 minutes of alone time in your day and letting your family know that that's your sacred time. Here's a little thing I've learned personally for me. is I like to do my morning routines. If I leave the bedroom, my yoga practice, my workout doesn't happen because the moment I step out of my bedroom door, I'm now a mom and I tend to take that on. So I like to kind of set my morning routine. My kids know I'm doing my yoga practice, I'm working out, I'm meditating, and then I'll come out and I'll help. Now they're at an age that they can take care of themselves. And my husband works from home. So if they do really need something, they can go to him, but they can get their breakfast. They can do things themselves. When they were younger, I had to balance and juggle it a little bit more with my husband. But now it's a conversation I have with my children. But I do find that it's filling your bucket first thing in the morning can be really good. So I kind of bookend my day. Morning and evening are really my me times. And then I kind of sprinkle in a little bit of alone times here and there throughout the day, if and when possible. And it's just doing a little check-in with yourself and seeing what you need to. And here's the key. It's to start small. Boundaries are a muscle. They take practice and consistency to strengthen. But trust me, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more you'll realize how freeing and empowering it feels to honor yourself. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this affirmation. Feel free to write it down, repeat it to yourself, or even use it as a mantra throughout the week. My boundaries are an act of self-respect and self-care. I honor my needs and protect my energy with love and grace. I'll say it again. My boundaries are an act of self-respect and self-care. I honor my needs and protect my energy with love and grace. Take a deep breath and let that sink in. You are worthy of setting boundaries. You are worthy of protecting your peace. And you're worthy of saying yes to yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Loving Me, Myself, and Life. I hope this conversation about boundaries gave you a little boost of courage and clarity to start honoring your needs this summer. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the rest of the summer Micro Boost series. And hey, if you know somebody that could use a little reminder about the power of boundaries, share this episode with them. Let's spread the self-love far and wide. And next week, we're talking about body love, embracing summer without shame. Also, for more self-love tips, affirmation, updates, head over to my website, jodymisiak.com. And don't forget, you can always jump over to my Instagram or Facebook and share your thoughts or wins this week. Until next Sunday, take care of yourself, love yourself, and remember you deserve a life that feels good. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.